AskReddit by AskReddit. What was the best relationship advice you ever got? Keep in mind that you are not fighting against your so during conflicts. You and your so are up against the issue. There are a couple verses in a song by one of my favorite native language rapper which basically goes something like this: at the end of the day you've got to find someone to join the me against the world team. Stuff's deep. In my language it rhymes and also it's even better. Never take each other for granted. Show appreciation often. Deleted. Prioritize trust and build a strong foundation of it. Deleted. Discuss life goals, especially kids, and financial habits before you get married. If one person wants 6 kids and the other wants to be childless, that's not going to work. If one person has champagne tastes and spending habits but you as a couple have a boxed wine budget, then that is a problem. More than one marriage has been ended because one spouse is bad with money and refuses to live within their means. Second, on the kids thing. If you disagree, don't push it off as a future issue. It will make it worse. Resentment will build as you know what will inevitably happen. Sure, you can compromise on the amount possibly, but you can't compromise with zero. I love the quote, "I don't want you to save me, but you can hold my hand while I save myself." Support with respect is key. From Russian Doll. Alan, you promise that if I don't jump, I will be happy? Nadia, no, man, absolutely not, but I can promise you that you will not be alone. There is no reason to keep score. You are both on the same team. If one, or both, of you starts keeping score with things, it is time to evaluate the state of the relationship and why this is occurring. On a related note, all problems can be solved, but not all problems are worth solving. Similarly, you should always feel like you're doing more than half the work. Partially because this way you know you're not freeloading off of your partner's work, and partially because your partner probably does 100 things a week that you don't see and may not even notice. Simple stuff like wiping out the sink, dusting a surface, etc. Be a steward of your shared spaces so your partner doesn't have to do it all on their own. Remember to laugh together and keep the romance alive. Never stop dating, edit, each other, was some of the best advice I ever received. While in a relationship, don't lose yourself as an individual. This is always important, but it's life-shattering when a breakup occurs and one of the people doesn't have their own identity. If the grass is greener on the other side, try watering yours. Or, be aware that the grass only looks greener because there's bullshit underneath. Be each other's biggest supporter and cheerleader. I went through a job loss during the pandemic, and it was a soul-sucking experience. I remember standing in the garage with my husband, worrying that I'd never be able to get a job that would pay my portion of the bills and other expenses. He told me he was sure I would, but, whatever happens, I got your back. That is a wonderful feeling, knowing that someone has got your back. I hope he feels it from me, too. Practice active listening to understand each other better. What would active listening look like? Don't look for a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship. Not having a romantic relationship is better than being in a bad romantic relationship. The phrase is usually no ex is better than bad ex, but I find that can be misunderstood more easily. That relationships are so hard or marriage takes so much work is terrible advice. Relationships take effort and maintenance and mindfulness, but it shouldn't be work. It's a garden, not a salt mine. If literally everything is an uphill struggle all the time, you are not compatible. Move on. All relationships are so hard, your teaches people as to stay in relationships that are bad for them. Get therapy and find healthy partners. And definitely don't have kids if your relationship is already OMG so hard. Relationships are never easy, but the right person should make it feel easy. If it's not easy for you to do that maintenance and keep that mindfulness, chances are they aren't the one for you. A partner is the cherry on top of a cake. The cake is your responsibility. Translation: a good partner can make you happier in life but can never make you happy. It is your own responsibility to have a happy and fulfilling life. The inverse is a little different. A bad partner can ruin your happiness. But it is your own responsibility to not let a bad cherry ruin your cake, not let a bad partner ruin your happiness. Man, I have never heard it put this way, but it's the perfect analogy. My wife truly does make my life better, and when I'm feeling down she picks me up. I feel like a lot of people blame their miserableness on their spouse, when in reality they're just miserable people. Communication is the key. Absolutely. It took me years to figure out that pushing stuff down and then letting it blow up is not a great communication style. And then learning to reframe things as my issues rather than my partner's fault has helped solve things even when I'm not entirely to blame. Not worrying about who's right and wrong brings solutions much more quickly. Deleted. I found that there's an inverse relationship between how happy the couple is and how often they post on social media about their relationship. Never start imagining a life together before you even started. Get to know the person first. Build it up from there. Be each other's friend above everything. Even head over heels in love, people get on each other's nerves once in a while. It's not necessarily a sign of trouble, or that you're growing apart, or you or she isn't good or the right one. You're together almost all the time. It's a sign that you're human. Make time. You'll always have $1,000,001 things that need your attention, but if you're going to be with someone, start a family with them, make time for them. My dad, who is still very much in love with my mum, who isn't really feeling it anymore because she's spent the last 35 years married to a workaholic farmer. Can you be a successful farmer and not be a workaholic? It takes a hell of a partner to beat no partner at all. Vet carefully and with a clear head, does this person add to your life? Is being with them an improvement over your regular, solo life? Or are they an effort to be around, to accommodate? Ooh yeah. I'm at the I'd rather be alone for the rest of my days than be with you stage. It's simultaneously empowering and disturbing. Hell, I'm at the even after you have turned everyone that I know, save for family and a couple of my oldest friends, against me, I would still choose this over staying married to you. Being single sucks. Being in a toxic relationship is so much worse. Relationships in fiction are fictional. And the vast majority of social media is fiction. I had a coworker who had a very happy marriage. I asked her how she chose her husband. She answered, "He was the nicest man I have met." That was an epiphany for me. I went on to marry the nicest man I have met. We've been married over 30 years. I won the husband lottery. How else were you planning to choose a spouse before that conversation? Your partner can't read your mind. Talk to them why you are upset or what is bothering you. Don't hold your negative thoughts inside. It will only make the situation more bitter. Also, you can't read your partner's mind. Never assume the worst intention. If they said something hurtful, chances are they meant something completely different. Have a goldfish's memory when it comes to arguments. The elephant's memory is the good stuff. Moreover, never keep score. A team, you are. Last part was read in Yoda's voice. If you take a Coke Zero out of the fridge, put another one back in. Replenish. If you have to constantly push your partner for anything, moving in, going out, doing trips, improving anything, getting engaged, it's not a partner, it's a wheelbarrow. Do you want to live with a wheelbarrow? That made me laugh, but opened my eyes on lots of things. Choose each other every day. If you can't laugh at each other's embarrassing moments, are you even really a couple? I just started dating this girl. It's been about 2 weeks now. Her neck and back were hurting her, so I happily gave her a massage. I had her sit up and I went to put my leg around her and just let out this squeaker of a fart as I pulled my leg up. I'm extremely embarrassed and she looks at me and starts crying, laughing. I mean dying. We both barely laughed for a solid 5 minutes about it. I was so nervous because I fart a lot. Like in my sleep even. She told me that as a couple, that's gonna happen and not to be even remotely embarrassed about it. She's a keeper. IDK if it's considered relationship advice, but when I was around 14 and had my first serious relationship, I went to go see my girl in the evening. Before I went out the door, my dad stopped me and said, "Son, there's one thing that you should know, and after I tell you I'll shut up about it. If a girl says no, that means no." I felt really awkward ATM cause it seemed obvious and I felt like my dad saw me as an idiot. 10 years later I still think about that moment and what my dad said, and I feel so proud of him for pointing out something that is really important. I feel like simple advice like that is not given often enough. My dad gave me the same no means no talk when he found out I was starting sex ed classes in middle school around the age of 11. I wasn't even interested in girls or dating or any of that yet. But he referred to it as the most important thing they'll never teach you in any class at school. I still believe that there's probably no other better piece of wisdom that fathers could give to their sons.